Okay, looks like I'm live. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if anybody notices. I'm also going to share a link in some places. How I've still not gotten used to using anything on my Mac yet is astonishing. The first computer I ever used was a Mac, and no, that's not good. And it's like I've forgotten how to do that. Hello, love not hate. Welcome. Hi, Pamela, my friend. Sorry I didn't get back to you last night after I picked up the kiddo. Um, parenting stuff ensued. There's Mon. Hi, Mon. Thanks for giving me the 5x5. I'm struggling as usual, trying to get my, I wanted to share a link in a couple of places on Facebook. No, that's not what I want to do. I don't really have anything in particular I want to talk about. I'm just working on consistency here. I think what I am going to do is a suggestion was made that because I'm trying to avoid, number one, overwhelming myself. Number two, crashing into other people's lives. I don't want to do that, mainly because I want to be there for their lives too. And third, I'm trying to be more consistent. And so if I have kind of a schedule, I think it would help me accomplish that. So I'm currently working around Kristen Melinda. So because of her work schedule, she has decided to go live on, I believe it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so what I plan to do then is to go live Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays in the evenings. And then, in the event I make it out to LA or something and I want to hang out at Big Blue, I'll do additional lives from there. But otherwise, I want to stick to the Sunday, Monday, Wednesday schedule. I think that'll be easiest. Okay, so this. Um, oh, oh, kind of went into Inception mode there. Hey, Carrie Ann, you found me. Yay. All right. So, I just want to keep this simple. What's going on with everybody? What are you guys up to this evening or morning or afternoon where you are? I know what Mon's up to. She and I were just chatting, and I was with Carrie Ann and her. You guys have to check out the book club. Right now, Carrie Ann is talking about, well, we're reading and discussing Jenna Miscavige's book. And as soon as I figure out how, I'm going to put up a link. And if you're not subscribed to Hey Carrie Ann, I highly recommend it. She is one of my favorite smart people. I love her. Even her study chats are fun and interesting. And I'm really looking forward to the book club. And is called, do I still have it? Oh, I didn't pin the app. Carrie Ann, can you give the title of the book? Because the way my memory is set up, I don't remember the title. And apparently I did not pin my Kindle app so I could look it up real quick. Ms. or MX Mandy, sorry. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. And let me see, as people are coming in, and I'm looking at the wrong stream. Well, I'm looking at this stream the way you guys are looking at this stream as a spectator, and that's confusing the heck out of me. Oh, here we go. So Music Studio. Mix. Okay, I got it. Mix Mandy McGee. I've never known how to pronounce that, and I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you. Let's see, did we get the book title? Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Beyond Belief is the title of her book. And it's available in any form that you would want, depending on your reading style. Thank you. Hey, Carrie Ann. It's I have it both on Kindle and on Audible because the way my ADHD is set up, I have to kind of alternate between the two depending on what my brain chemistry is doing that particular day. Hello, Brian. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, hi, Love Not Hate. I don't know that, I think I've seen you in other chats, but welcome here to my little humble presentation. And thank you for joining us. You know, if I could get Restream to work, I have all kinds of really cool things set up there. I just can't get them to translate over to YouTube, but you know, I've got a banner going at the bottom welcoming folks. And things like that, but I cannot get Restream or StreamYard to talk to my YouTube channel. I'll never understand that. I asked Cricket for help. I told her what I was doing, and she was just like, I don't know. So I guess tomorrow I'm going to have to actually reach out to support and see if they can talk me through what I'm doing wrong. Hi, Marla Dillard. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Did YouTube tell you that I had gone live in any sort of way? That's something else I can't figure out is notifications. Let me see. Who else is here that they might have missed? Got Brian. And you guys, if you aren't subscribed and haven't checked out From a Poet, Brian Lucas, please do. He has some beautiful poetry. His book is also available on Amazon in print. And I picked that up and I thought I was going to have to fight my housemate over it. She saw the title and was just in awe. And let me see if I can find a link to that. There we go. And his book is also, in addition to print, it's also available on Kindle. I wanted an actual hard copy of his book because I'm hoping that someday I can get it autographed. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, here we go. So this is Brian's book. Please check it out. And I'm going to put up a link to your channel too, Brian. I think I'm doing that in a weird way. Let me try it this way. Here. Now, what is that doing? Yeah, Brian's got an even 300 subscribers. Let's see if we can get him some more. There we go. Oh, wow. No, that did too much. Uh-oh. Today we helped a gal who is undocumented and is leaving. Oh my goodness. Let me see. I don't know how, or even if I can, put you guys' comments up. Ah, uh, I can pin comments, but I can't do anything else with them after that. This is fantastic. I promise I'm going to figure out what I'm doing soon. Uh, it's going to take some practice. I appreciate y'all's patience. But yeah, Pamela SP Butterfly said, today we helped a gal who is undocumented and is leaving a domestic violence or DV situation. I'm not monetized, I'm just going to use words. Made sure she had a Ring doorbell set up. That is fantastic, Pamela. I'm glad you were able to do that for her. Um, yeah, that's wild. So, Brian, what are you up to today if I can put you on the spot? Yeah, thanks, here, Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann, what do you use? Do you use Restream or StreamYard? And is there anything you guys want to talk about? Give her a link to a group that might be able to help her with some of the legal stuff. That is great. Use StreamYard. You remember having problems in the beginning. Okay, thanks, Carrie Ann. Brian says, I'm up to the same thing I'm up to every day, taking it one day at a time. And right now all about beating the heat. Yeah. It was in the mid 90s here in the Inland Empire, Southern California. And I went outside once and I hated it. And the horrible thing is, um, we're having some electrical issues, and this morning or this afternoon, the kiddo's grandmother came home from work early because their computers were down, and she came home and the kiddo, because it gets so hot upstairs, it was costing us over $1,000 when we first moved in. It's costing us that much money in order to keep this house cool because of the way it's insulated, and the vaulted ceiling in the living room points straight to upstairs, directing all of the heat there. And so we put window air conditioners in two of the bedrooms, and then there's a portable in the master bedroom where Nana is. And Nana comes home from work. I have my air on. Well, I'm on a separate circuit, and the kiddo and Nana are on the same one. Kiddo has hers on. Nana comes home, turns hers on, and then the power in both rooms goes out. And so I was running up and down the stairs for a good hour, turning it back on while we were trying to figure out what the problem was. And ultimately, Nana has decided to suffer in the largest, hottest room of the house so that the child can be cool. And it's, if only the child appreciated what her grandmother really does for her. Because it's so hot in that room, I can't stand to be in there to talk to her for longer than 5 minutes. It's awful. And so we're going to have to get that fixed, sorted out in a more permanent way pretty soon. Brian, the insulation in your place sucks. It's 30 years old. Oh, yeah. Is there any way to replace the insulation in there, or are you just kind of stuck with what you've got, Brian? Oh, Carrie Ann, 72 sounds wonderful. I'm probably going to have to just move up there. Uh, oh, that's great, Pamela. I'm glad that I don't know how I'm thinking you came to that on your own. We did talk about DACA a little bit, but I'm not accustomed to inspiring anything. So I'm thinking that popped into your head on your own, but that's great. I'm glad you were able to find resources for her there. Oh, I did mention looking for a DACA attorney, though. I think maybe I did. I don't know. Yes, Pamela. I don't know if I could handle Walla Walla though, just because it's so Adventisty. But I definitely love to live anywhere else. I'm not. I was born in Los Angeles, but when it comes to the weather, I am not really a California girl. I'm very heat intolerant. I spent most of my early childhood in Phoenix, and that was where migraines discovered me. Most of my migraines are actually heat induced, which makes this time of year very, very unpleasant for me. Everybody's like, oh, I'm so excited, summer, warmer weather, blah, blah, blah. And I would rather be frozen, literally. I was a very excited girl when we actually got snow at my house in the Inland Empire. When we refer to the Inland Empire, is Riverside, San Bernardino counties, and the easternmost parts of Los Angeles County. And it's a desert here. We're about an hour away from the beach, and so we don't get nice breezes, cool breezes. What we get are Santa Ana winds. I can't remember whose chat I was in the other night, and somebody mentioned the Santa Ana winds, because that's another thing that's just absolute murder on my brain. My brain is, or my migraines react to changes in barometric pressure. And I was really feeling for Cricket Friday night when she got to her friend's house, because travel is one of the first things that'll get me. I was actually pleasantly surprised in April when I went to see my brother in Colorado for my birthday that I didn't get hit with a really bad one, because usually that first day or two I get slammed, because there I'm not just dealing with the pressure changes, I'm also dealing with altitude changes. And let's see, I hadn't been there since 2019 because of the pandemic. So when I was there last in April of 2019, I was down pretty much the entire week that I was there. Towards the end of my visit, I started to kind of feel a little bit better from the altitude sickness. And we were able to go up and visit Estes Park. And I just love it up there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, it can really ruin a vacation. And I'm hoping that I don't have too many issues on the cruise, because I'm so looking forward to that. Just made my final payment with Cricket about an hour ago, and I'm excited. And the kiddo is excited. In fact, what was it? Yesterday morning. Yeah, yesterday morning. We're listening to what is, I guess, an oldie station, but it was playing the music of my youth. And she started jotting down songs that she wants played at prom. She is in, she's going to be finishing up her high school education in an online school, just because of just a lot of the issues that she's been through in the last going on 3 years now, with her own mental health and the loss of her mom and stuff. It's online is going to be the easiest way for her to get caught up and finish. And so she's probably not going to have a prom either. And when I first told her about it, she got really excited. So, and let's see, and she's going for 80s, because that's what the kids right now are into, is the stuff that we were doing when we were in high school. So let's see. Let me get back into the chat and see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Stop. 72 degrees. Yeah, that just sounds wonderful to me. I wouldn't even have a hoodie and socks on. I would probably be wearing shorts. That sounds great. Carrie Ann says she's in a 60-year-old house and they came from a 20-year-old house. The insulation in this one sucks rotten eggs in comparison. Yeah, yeah. They don't build them like they used to, and they probably shouldn't. Let's see. Oh, Mandy, did anybody explain DACA? DACA was the want to know what it stands for before I continue. It's the Dreamers Act. And that was for individuals who are born into undocumented families that don't have legal citizenship, but they were born here. And it's the idea is to help them because they've been here and they've been working here and they've been paying taxes. It's a misconception that dreamers don't pay taxes. It gives them an opportunity, a path towards citizenship. And I'm hoping that works out for her. Let me see. Pamela says, oh, that's right. You're not in Walla Walla anymore, Pamela SP Butterfly. Centralia is halfway between Seattle and Portland. Okay. Whatever it is, it sounds cooler and prettier than where I am. I love the desert, but I love it more in the winter, fall and winter when it's cooler. And it kind of saddened me that I can't stay in Arizona. I grew up in the Phoenix and Glendale areas, and but that heat, my migraines over the summers decreased greatly after we moved to Southern California. And that was the first time I was ever able to identify a trigger, was that. Oh, Mandy, you're not a fan of boats, ships, ocean, big bodies of water. And sharks. Sharks, now I'm gonna have to talk to jellyfish when they are contained. Those are some of my favorite creatures. I can spend, I'm an hour away from the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, and whenever I get there, I beeline to the jellyfish room because it is just the most peaceful thing that I can imagine. Let me see. And I can handle little boats. I've even piloted a sailboat, single sail, uh, in a harbor in San Diego before. It was supposed to be a romantic date. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, rent one of those small sailboats and take her out. That she'll love that." I wound up having to steer the thing because he didn't know how. And the only reason why I knew how is because I had taken a sailboarding class years ago and understood how, you got to figure out where the wind is and where you want to go, and then you adjust the sail accordingly. He did not know how to do that. He just, sail is up and he's just doing with the rudder, and we are slowly flowing in to a jet ski competition. Yeah, that was our one and only date. He was a nice guy, but he had other issues too, like severe case of baby mama drama, and I have no tolerance for that. He was talking to me on the phone, and his daughter's mom was there to pick her up or something, and he told me, oh, sorry, I'm gonna have to go, because she just walks in yelling. And so we disconnect the call, and then I guess somehow she gets a hold of his phone. This is in the late 90s, hits *69, calls me back, and starts yelling at me. And I'm like, I don't know why you're upset with me. I didn't know you existed. And that was pretty much the end of that. Oh yeah, that was the reddest of the red flags. He had told me that about his ex and their daughter and things like that. But I did not expect or anticipate or tolerate her coming at me with her crazy. I was not going to do that. So let's see. Energy company. Is your energy company offering any senior abatement programs that Nana would Yes, and I've been trying to get her down there. So the city of Riverside has its own power company, and they have all kinds of programs like that. And currently, when my bestie died 2 years ago, the utilities were all in her name, and I've been trying for the last 2.5 years almost to get Nana down there so that we can change them over into her name and start getting these discounts, because she's going to be 72 years old. Heck yeah, they've got some programs that she would qualify for to bring those bills down, but I understand that it's something that's difficult to deal with. I'm going to put us. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back. I just, can you guys hear me? Just needed to knock down the camera and everything. Um, okay. You guys can hear me? Okay, great. So, let's see where I was. I was trying to catch up on the chat. Yeah, so I think I had just finished telling you guys my small boat story. As long as I have a life vest on, I don't have much fear of the water. I am a very, very poor swimmer. I only learned when I was in my mid 30s, I think. I took some swimming lessons as an adult. It was really, really cute because I'm in the pool. Fortunately, I had my own instructor, but over at the deep end of the pool are a bunch of little kids with their floaties on their arm, and then I'm over in the shallow end, near drowning almost every lesson. It was good times. I can make it across the pool safely now, but I would not consider, like, if I were to fall into the ocean, I would be yelling goodbye to everybody as I went down. Um, let's see. Brian, you're fortunate that you got to see the ocean. My nephew is 4 years in now, and he has yet to actually step foot on a boat. He's mostly been working in hospitals in Florida and Maryland, and I think he's back in Texas now. Uh, let's see. And Brian, that is true. He did think of something, unique and romantic to take me on, and that was very sweet of him. But I I don't have the patience to deal with my own drama, let alone somebody else's. And it was unfortunate, but that was just not a situation that at that age, I wasn't 30 yet, and I hadn't learned how to deal with conflict the way I have, since then. Let's see. Let's see, Tamber, you said your dad and I are going there. You mean the Aquarium of the Pacific? I want to go. I love it there. That is my happy place. And yeah, Mon asked how everybody's weekend has been going. Oh, Brian, you can only swim barely enough to save your own neck. Yeah, survival swimming. When I was taking the lessons and I lived in a condominium complex that had a pool, it was like right outside of our condo. I would get one of those kick, I guess there's something, it's like a foam board that you can hang on to and just, kick your way across the pool, or use it to help you float. I was using that several times a week in the pool while I was practicing, and it was strange. I noticed after a few weeks that I didn't need my chiropractor anymore. And that was because I was straightening up. I have scoliosis. At the time, it was just scoliosis. Now it's a whole bunch of other problems. I also had lordosis, which is abnormal curvature in the lumbar and sacral spine. And the swimming helped strengthen the muscles there so that my spine had better support, and a lot of my pain went away. So let's see. Yes, Brian, my nephew is a corpsman. Yeah, medical corpsman. Let's see. Amber, my weekend has been long. Glad to be resting finally. Oh my goodness, yeah. There's nothing worse than having a long week and then having a long, busy weekend. Ryan says, true story. When we had to do the swim qualifications, I decided to take lessons. Well, there was another Lucas in my division, and they stamped my paperwork as passing me. He went and took the test twice. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, Brian. Oh my goodness, that is funny. Yeah. Let's see. I ran into him after boot camp, and he was on restriction, couldn't adjust to Navy life, and was getting processed out. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. And you know what? It might have been a sign from the beginning, him not passing the test. The universe might have been telling you both, you need to be in there, but he doesn't. Who knows? Um, I'm trying to, well, I've spent the last 20 years of my life trying to get better at understanding why things, there's not always first of all, I do not believe that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes stuff happens and it's just stupid, and we just have to learn how to deal with it. But for the things that do have reasons, and sometimes we don't know for years after, I like to try to understand what the universe is trying to tell me in those instances. And I mean, I guess one example of that would be when I was working as a court clerk in the 90s. Um, at one point, I thought, yeah, I think I want to do something different. I was a full time employee at that point. Um, I loved my coworkers, but I just didn't love my job. It wasn't very interesting at all. I was literally just a well paid paper pusher. Literally, an attorney or one of their assistants would come in with stacks of paperwork. I would enter the information, the name of the document, what it was for, into the computer, hit it with the rubber stamp, and then push it on to the next person who, usually the next person was going to scan it into the computer system. And then that person would push it on to the next person who put it into the physical case file. And that person would make sure that the case file, the next person would make sure the case file got to the judge in time for the hearing or whatever. And um, when I started realizing that while I was being paid well and I loved my coworkers, I was starting to hate my job. I would apply for other jobs and they would look at my stuff and they would use the phrase that no one is really supposed to say to you, which is, you're really overqualified for this. And you have a good job. Why don't you just stay there? And I'm like, but I mean, I want to say I was told that at least 6 times. And the only time that the doors opened for me to leave was when I applied for nursing school. And those doors opened so wide and so fast. It was astonishing. It was weird. It's like there was literally no direction for me to go except for to school. My nursing school story is basically while at the courts, a friend of mine was in one of my coworkers was in a horrible accident on New Year's Day, and it left her quadriplegic. And I spent a lot of time with her in the hospital, and I would ask a lot of questions of the nurses, and I would observe and even help sometimes. And a lot of them would say things to me like, you know what, you would be really good at this. You should consider becoming a nurse. And the more I heard it, the more it made sense, because what I was missing from my work at the courthouse was actually helping people. Because I was not a paralegal or an attorney or a judge, all I could do was move paperwork. I couldn't tell anybody what I thought. I couldn't the best I could do to help someone was to tell them, well, you can use this form or you can use this form. I can't tell you which one would be better, but these are your options. That's all I could do as a court clerk. So, and I needed to be, I was starting to believe that I was born to be a caregiver. So, I went, I started taking general ed classes to fill in some gaps from my previous college experience, and all of my sciences, the ones that I had passed, um, had expired long before then. So I went and retook some classes at a community college. I had applied to that same college's nursing programs, and I applied for the LVN program, which is licensed vocational nursing. And they said, there were two versions of that program. One was a part-time program where you would take a few classes one semester, and then the following semester you would, well, basically the part-time program took a year and a half. So your time in the classes was split up. And then the other option was the full-time program, which was 10 straight months. And so they said apply for both. and see which one you get into. So, and it was based on grades and things like that. My GPA was pretty good, but others, there's always somebody that's smarter than you, and that's fine. Hi, Jen. Wow, thanks for joining us. How you doing? Um, and so I applied, and I get the call, and they say, um, "You are you've been accepted to the part-time program." And the secretary was funny. She was trying to drop me some hints, and I just wasn't catching them. I don't do good with hints. They don't, it just zip right over my head. So, um, she said, "Now you're in the part-time program, but keep in mind, things happen, and you could possibly be bumped up to the full-time program." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm just thinking, she must tell everybody that. Hi, Fairy in the chat. Tanya, welcome. Um, and so I said, "Okay, yeah, yeah." So a few weeks go by. It's the first day of school. I had signed up to take a medical terminology class, and was supposed to start that evening. I had the book and everything. I was ready to go. And I'm at work at my desk. At this point, I'm working part time to try to accommodate my schooling. And my phone rings, and I had a Palm Trio. I don't know if anybody remembers those, but it was a Palm Pilot, an all in one. It was like a brick with a small antenna and a keyboard on the front. And I see the number, and it's the secretary from the School of Nursing, and I duck under my desk. My supervisor's like right across from me. So I just ducked under my desk and answered, and I'm whispering, I'm like, "Hello?" And she says, "I just wanted to let you know that 3 students did not show up for the first day of classes today, and they waited for them, and they're not going to wait any longer. You are next on the waiting list. Would you like a full-time spot?" And I all I said was, "When do I need to be there?" And she said, "Well, they're at lunch right now, but they will be back in about 45 minutes." And I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." And I pop up back from under my desk, and I get up and I walk around over to my supervisor, and I said, "I have to go. The nursing school just called me and said that they have a full-time spot for me, and I have to go." And she said, "Oh, that's awesome." Everybody was like actually very supportive of me when I started taking my classes, and proud of me. And a lot of them I'm still in touch with, and they were absolutely wonderful. Um, but how I answered her was, she said, "When are you coming back?" And I said, "I'm not. This is it. I'm in nursing school now, and I'm not coming back." And I had to go downstairs to in the courthouse to HR and explain that to them. Same thing. She said, when will you be able to come back?" And I'm like, "I'm not. This is literally my last moment here." And explained that to her, and she told me how we would have to proceed. I'd have to come back and do all the paperwork and everything. And I'm running down the hallway in the courthouse trying to make my way out of the building into my car. And I've got all my stuff, and I'm waving at, I see one of my coworkers named Julie, and I said, "Bye, I gotta go. I'm going to nursing school." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome. When are you coming back?" And I'm like, "I'm not." I know, Brian. That's just how my brain works, especially. And I realized I learned, years later, that that's just my ADHD just has me blurt stuff out. But I mean, to say that to your supervisor, because I couldn't in that short a mere, it was a matter of seconds from talking to the secretary on the phone to talking to my supervisor, Maria, to try to compose proper notice. My brain just wouldn't let me. And what I had on my side at that time was the fact that everybody there really loved me. We were like a family at that time. And when I go back to visit, I don't see that atmosphere anymore. So I think I got out of there at the right time. Oh yeah, everybody thinks it's hilarious. I still laugh about it. Hi, Janet G. Thanks for coming. Oh, and I see Julie Fire Rocks. Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming. And I hope I haven't missed anybody else. But if I have, let me know. And Yeah, I literally just ran out of the courthouse, jumped in my car, and drove to school and sat down and started. Uh, and that was one of those instances where I felt the previous doors had all slammed in my face because they weren't my doors. And it wasn't until I started walking towards the right door that everything cleared. It's just literally, I'd walk up, if I were to walk up to a door, it would just start opening like it was, an automated door. And my journey through nursing since then has been that way. I have, I feel like I've gotten every job that was for me. And yeah, I look back and there's nothing about it I regret. And to listening and trusting my feelings and trusting my instincts and listening to what the universe is trying to tell me um, has kept me on the right path, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, that's my nursing story so far. And going back to the nonsense, I feel it's nonsense. And I don't want to knock anybody who does believe this, but the whole everything happens for a reason. I can't understand how my friend Linda having that horrible accident, she had two teen children, and suddenly her entire life is upended, and she can no longer care for herself, let alone her children, in an instant. I still don't know what the reason behind that was, and I probably never will. Um, but I do know that because of spending time with her and encouragement from her and encouragement from the nurses, that I became a nurse. And that's the only part of it that makes sense for me. Um, could I have become a nurse without those things happening to Linda? Possibly, probably, but I never would have thought of it. Um, yeah, Brian says most reasons we only figure out in hindsight. Yeah, I believe that's true. And but that's that part of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see, where are we getting time wise? I don't want to be on too long, just because there's a bunch of things that I've neglected to do that I need to give my attention to. But it's finally cool enough in this house that I feel like my brain is functioning properly again. Um, how is the picture? I'm using I'm on my Mac. I'm using my AirPod for sound, but I'm using a little 720p web camera that I don't even remember. I think I bought it for school years ago, and it's literally just been in a drawer. And I rediscovered it, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if this thing really works, because I don't remember actually using it. Okay, good, because the previous lives have all been either me holding my phone or using my iPad, or what do you call it? The last two lives I did were from my iPhone, but I was using it as a webcam for my Mac. So, okay, good to good to know you can see me good. All right, so I'm probably going to stick with this setup. I ordered a new tripod for it that'll be here tomorrow, so I'm going to test that out because I don't really like the phone placement, because I feel like I'm doing this a lot. And I don't want you guys to think I'm rolling my eyes, but in order to see the chat, I have to look like this. In order to see the time, I have to look like this. So I want to position things so that they're a little bit more level and even with each other. And then for lighting, I just have a little clip-on ring light here that's literally just laying here. Let's see. Thank you, Marla Dillard. Picture is great. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Tamber June, I am so sorry about the fires. That I have never had a fire too close to me. It's always been out in like the Palm Springs area or San Jacinto area, and or up in the mountains. That was probably when it was in the San Bernardino Mountains. That was probably the closest I'd ever been to a wildfire, and that was scary. A lot of the homes in my aunt and uncle's neighborhood took damage from that, and they actually had smoke damage in their own house. I know that. Let's see, I was living in downtown Riverside when that fire happened, and um, it was snowing ash where I lived because we were only about 10 miles away from the mountains. So, yeah, fire season is not something I'm a huge fan of. And in Southern California and all of California, we have this gentle balance between are we getting enough rain and snow cover to improve our water table and fill our lakes versus do we have all this greenery that's going to die and then start burning in a few months later and kill us all? Yay, ciao. Yeah, I'm doing it just straight through YouTube because I still could not get Restream to play game with me this evening. So it is what it is. I'm probably going to wind up having to reach out to support tomorrow and see if they can help me. Tamber June says it's hurting my allergies and anxiety more than anything else. Yeah, Tamber, I feel you on the anxiety. The San Bernardino Mountains, I don't remember what they called that fire, but it was a Saturday morning. Because I remember as soon as I found out what was going on, I am sending text messages, and this is, pre-smartphones back in the early 2000s. So I'm sending frantic text messages to my uncle, um, telling him about the evacuation order. He and my aunt were at church, and I didn't know that any of them there knew about what was actually happening. I think they just thought, oh, it's just a fire up there. They're keeping it contained. Where they live, there's a street in San Bernardino called Waterman that you can take that'll take you right up into Crestline and onto Big Bear. And my aunt and uncle lived right at 40th and Waterman. And Waterman is, or 40th is like the last street before you start going up the hill. So they were in the evacuation area. Fortunately, they weren't. Thank you, Pamela. I knew you'd know. You were down here, weren't you? And yeah, so I'm texting my uncle, trying to let him know you guys need to get home and grab some, the important stuff and skedaddle out of there. And they did. And fortunately, they were able to return home. I think late that night or early the next morning, they were able to get it under control. But it was gross. I tried to rinse off my car, and I wished I hadn't. Probably would have been better off dusting it because of the thick layer of ash that covered it. It was bad, and yeah, that was a bad time for me and my asthma too, Pamela. Or Tamber. Let's see. All right. So, Cricket, are you getting everything under control cruise wise? If any of you are going on the Xenu Marlene cruise in September and you have not made your final payment, you should be talking to Cricket right now. Right now. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Tamber June says, I'm really trying to get my important stuff condensed in a fireproof container. in Anaheim when the hills were burning. Oh God, yeah. It was so scary. We weren't supposed to go outside. Yeah. On my Amazon Echo, I got a warning about air quality. And so I've just done my best to stay inside. All right. Start calling out names if you have to, Chow, and we'll just, we'll all just be like, hey, what's the holdup? How am I supposed to meet you and squeeze you to death if you aren't on the cruise? Get with it. Make that payment or, figure something out. I basically had to go running to Nana asking for permission to use the credit card. We got to do what we got to do. And you know what? She said that I deserve this and she's glad I'm taking the kiddo. And she told me I don't even have to pay her back. What? Who does that? Let's see. So, what else is going on with everybody? I would venture to say that Cricket has had the best day because she got to just chill with a sleeping dog. And to me, that just sounds like heaven. I miss those days. We have two Chihuahuas, and one of them will occasionally feel inspired to come in and visit me in my room. Otherwise, I have to go look for her. Bear the Great. He he likes to hang out with me, but my room has been such a disaster. I think he gets frustrated and like, there's literally nowhere for me to lay down on your bed. He tried to sleep with me last night. He likes to curl up behind my knees, and I think I tossed and turned too much for him because I woke up a few hours later and he was gone. But that's okay. Let's see. Janet G said I had family in the Oregonian, oh, Okanagan fires. I'm not sure where that is. Just horrible when they sweep through so fast in such dry conditions. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Let's see. Amber Jean says she's working on new crochet stitches. That sounds fun. All crochet stitches are new crochet stitches to me. I want to learn. I think, in fact, who was it? Oh, at the Tay program where the kiddo and I participate. It's called I can't remember what Tay stands for right now, but it's basically a program for youth that are kind of at risk. And the parent partner was saying, "Do you crochet?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, we've been using with the parents crochet and diamond therapy, which are two things that I've been hearing about a lot in our communities here on YouTube. We've been using that as a part of therapy, and I think you'd like it." And I'm like, "Oh." And then let's see, I think that was last Tuesday, so I should be. I'm going to try to do that on Tuesday with her because I need something to kind of pull me out of my own brain while I process. I find I did EMDR therapy after the kiddo's mom died, and I found it very helpful. I can. We were doing it virtually, unfortunately, because it was still kind of pandemic conditions, and to try to do. I know some therapists are able to do the eye movement via computer, but it didn't work for me. It actually triggered a migraine, so we had to use tapping instead. And I found that the movement really did help me process stuff while I was talking. So I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that the doing crochet or diamond painting and talking will actually help me process some more of the things that I'm dealing with. Awesome cricket. And then there was one. Tamber, I am so excited. I believe it's going to be a lot of fun. And I guess we've been throwing around talk about the next big gathering to be on land for those that can't or, well, can't do a cruise for any reason. And so there's been some preliminary talk about resorts. And I think that would be a lot of fun, actually. So hopefully more people can join in next year. Let's see. Yeah, Titanic-itis. Yeah. I've been on small cruises before. It was Carnival. I couldn't tell you to save my life what the name of the boat was, but it was just a 3 day down to Ensenada and back. Um, I could have driven to Ensenada faster, but it it was fun in a lot of ways. That trip, I really don't consider it my first cruise because it was horrible for me because my grandmother had just died, and then I came down with hand, foot, and mouth disease and had a really stupid doctor said, "You can't get that." I'm like, "Well, I have it," and then she tried to prescribe an antibiotic, and I yelled at her and left the office. And that was before I was a nurse. I'm like, "Why would you prescribe me an antibiotic for a viral infection?" Goodbye. So, yes, Mom, no seasickness in the resort. Oh, Tamber, is that why you guys are gonna be down here? Tamber said, My dad and I are going to Ensenada to scatter Mom's ashes at sea. She loves that trip. Short enough and fun for her." Oh, that's great. It might have, I'm not sure. Child, this would have been in 2000. No, this would have been in 99. And it was out of Long Beach. And I can attest, though, it was a smaller old ship. So maybe. Yeah, that would have been, I want to say September of 99. And the crazy thing about the big ships is even on the small one, only the only time I realized I was really on a boat was either when I was looking for the sea outside or that first night when they thought everybody was asleep and then they threw it into warp speed. And I felt like that, as big as it was, I felt like I was on a speedboat bouncing down. Cal, for some reason, it held your comment for review. That's fascinating. Oh, it's probably because you used the W word. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet it was the paradise. That's funny that it held your comment. Hilarious. It doesn't know me very well yet and yeah, what my approved list of words actually is. So let's see. What else can I tell you guys? Um, as hard as I try, I am. It's. Oh no, I actually had to approve it, Mon. I had to either approve or deny it. That was kind of funny. I was like, what would Chow say that was offensive? Oh, well, it's not offensive to me. Whatever. Um, let's see. As hard as I try not to collect stuff, and then I wind up doing it anyway because sometimes things just tickle my fancy. When my grandmother's house caught fire back in 2002, it was literally just 2 weeks before Linda's car accident. I and I saw all of her things that she had collected over the years. My grandmother had long passed. Well, she passed in '99, and this would have been about 4 years later. I um I decided at that moment that I wasn't going to I didn't want to lose anything like that ever again, and so I said I wasn't going to collect anything. Um, Remind me next time to show you my globe collection. I used to have a watch collection. I still have the watches, but I'm not adding to it anymore. And then I can show you a couple of these. Here, I'll pull out Loki. And then I've started a Funko Pop collection despite myself. And so I have a lot of Marvel. I have the TLC limited edition collection that you a couple of years ago. I have all three of them. And I have a few from The Matrix. I have Yennefer and Geralt from The Witcher. And but mostly globes. My room is becoming overtaken by globes, and I always say this is the last one. I'm not buying another. Most of the ones that I have are gifts, actually. But I did buy another one last Sunday when we were in West Hollywood at an amazing thrift store. So, and as soon as I walked in, it was just like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Okay, come home." But yeah, welcome back, Carrie Ann. Uh, oh yeah, let me see if I can pull out T-Boz, and I see T-Boz. And right now they're not in any particular organized fashion because we're going to be having our flooring redone, and I have a new bookcase and plans to rearrange my room, and then I need a bigger desk because this is just barely a decent writing desk that I'm at right now. But oops, she's backwards. There we go. There's the three. Let me get the glare out and figure out where the camera is. I don't know how well you can see, but it's Chili, T-Boz, and Left Eye. And I believe there's another set where they're in different outfits. I don't have the Lego globe, but I would die. If I made an Amazon list, that would probably be the only darn thing on it. I do have a tiny little puzzle globe. Who else is handy? I have several of these where they're made with precious stones, and in different sizes. I actually have a set of bookends with those too. And TLC is a music group from the 90s. The hesitate to say lead, but it's three women, and Left Eye. Well, they got it from because it's T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili, and that's where they got the TLC from. We lost Left Eye. She died in a car accident, and that was tragic. T-Boz and Chili still do some things, and all three of them were amazing artists. And I just always loved me some TLC. Yeah, Mon, it was very sad. And if you ever heard that song, Waterfalls, where they say don't go chasing waterfalls, that and Fan Mail album was fire. I love that album. You probably have heard that song at some point. And that was TLC. And yeah, they were fantastic, and it was just absolutely tragic the way we lost her. Let me get off of that subject because I'm feeling my mood change just talking about it. The other thing that I collect is a bunch of books, and it's been funny when Krista Miranda does her page 42. Um, I get excited because she and I apparently, yes, no scrubs, of course. Um, she and I apparently like and collect the same books. I'd say read because a lot of the ones that she has pulled up that I also have are in the waiting to be read book pile. I'm one of those. Well, I bought a second bookshelf that I haven't been able to put up yet. So if that tells you how many books I've got. Uh, yeah, right now they're just kind of piles and stacks. But yeah, this is the one that got me. She pulled out House of Leaves and read page 47, and I thought that was her because this is how some of the pages in this book look. This is page 217. It has one word on it, and the page after it has a small paragraph way down at the bottom. It's an odd book. And then there's, a few pages later, it's just full of text. And I think he does font change. No, font seems to be, no, yeah, he changes fonts periodically. And then I'm trying to find my favorite page. Because when I first saw this, I was just like, I don't even know how to approach that. Where is it? It's an amazing book, though. And it was a project, kind of him and his sister. These pages where almost everything's in red and stricken through. House of Leaves is very weird. And I just want to read it to enjoy it. I'm not even going to try to understand it all. Yeah, it's pages like this. And you have to turn the book around a lot of times in order to read a section. And what I'm looking for, basically, it's text, but it's literally in a spiral. And did I mention it's over 600 pages? Yeah, it's a challenge. Oh, yes. And I didn't know about the book, Brian. I bought her album first, and I was just, well, let me back up. When she did her first album, she actually did a live. It was just her on drums, and I want to say it was just her and a guitarist and somebody on keyboards, and that was it. And they did a live set to promote her first album, Hello, at the Mission Inn Hotel here in Riverside. And I went with my boyfriend at that time, and our relationship didn't last, but my love of her music did. She was amazing, or is amazing. She still does stuff, but it's harder to find now because she's very, very independent. But yeah, her album Haunted is the companion to this book, and I didn't know about the book until a couple of years ago, but I have the album and it is fantastic. And especially the title track, Haunted, that is one of my favorite songs and has one of the meanest drum riffs I've ever heard in my entire life. It's amazing. And then in the album Haunted, there are a couple of tracks where there are, yes, exactly, Brian. She does reference House of Leaves. And there's actually a quote from the book read in there. And I can't remember which track that's on, but the whole thing is amazing. And I found out about the book because I started getting interested I like creepypastas, and from creepypastas, I found out about ARGs, alternate reality games. And there's one YouTuber that goes by Nightmind. He's more of a VTuber, and he did a video I think it's just one, it might be two videos actually on House of Leaves. And he's the one that said something about it being having a companion created by his sister, um, and talked about the album. And that blew my mind because I already loved the album. And so, like, while he is, it's not even halfway through the video, and I'm already on Amazon ordering the book. So I have that. Um, yeah, I really like Poe. She's just different. And her song "Hello," some people might know it because it was wound up being used in a commercial for something at one point, and I remember thinking, "Huh, that's cool." Um, but it's maybe I need to make a couple of playlists. I might make a playlist of my favorite music and pop it in there. Uh, I'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. While we're talking about music, Happy Jack. Yeah, I love Trigger Happy Jack. Yeah, that one's a good one. Um, my music leanings, I started so as a kid in Arizona who was allergic to hot temperatures, apparently. Um, my brother would have asthma attacks. I would get migraines. My asthma seemed to be more of an allergic thing, dust, grass. And so he and I could not spend too much time playing outside like, normal kids in normal places would. And we would um, spend a lot of time at my mom's hi-fi. So it was one of those great big it's a piece of furniture, and on it has a turntable built in. It had actual storage in it for albums. Okay, Timbre. So you and I had probably crossed paths at some time. This is crazy. Small world. And okay. See, I had nosebleeds in Arizona too. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, that dry air was just, I don't understand why anybody would choose to live there on purpose. I don't get it. But I love it. That's the crazy thing. I love when I drive into Phoenix to visit my nephew, he still lives there. Um, I just it's like I exhale. I don't know how to explain it. I loved it there. Yes, those old TV, yeah. We didn't have the TV my grandmother had the TV cabinet, my mom had the hi-fi. And so my brother and I would drive her nuts saying, "Hey, can you put this record on? Can you put that record on?" So we're like 5 and 6 years old standing on a stool. She taught us how to play records on there. Just showed us how to switch it from 33 to 45 and how to use the adapter for um, the smaller plotters. And um, we had a good old time. And when we were in high school, he went on to DJ. That's how much he loved it. And I know the words to a lot of songs from a lot of different genres. It's wild. My mom had disco. She had um, R&B. She had I listened to a lot of Barry Manilow and Barbara Streisand, a lot, and I'm not ashamed of it. In fact, I still love them both. And let's see, some rock and roll. I listened to a lot of that on the radio. So when I came out to California, um, I already loved everything pretty much. My grandmother listened to big band and classical. I could listen to pretty much any music. And Bee Gees and ABBA. Yes. Yes, love them both. And Nights on Broadway are like a forever favorite for me, man. I love that song. Um, and let's see. And yeah, ABBA I loved. In fact, one of the songs that I need to hear on at prom cricket is Dancing Queen. I just have to. And let's see. Oh, and Cricket, the kiddo, is coming up with her list of things she wants to hear, and it's like ABBA, and I mean, I'll have not ABBA, Aha, and I'll have to I'll have to show you her list because it's actually great. It's literally everything that somebody who graduated in 1988 would want to listen to. Like I have no objections. Tool is great. I don't know all of their music, but what I do know, I do like Brian. And probably my favorites. I can't remember whose chat I was in yesterday, and I said, oh, I think it was uh, when, but first coffee. Susie Overholtz was talking to George, and they were talking about music, and I said, "Oh no, 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 no!" It was when the twins were talking to George the night after, and I said, "Duran Duran forever," basically. Duran Duran was a huge favorite. Is still when they came out with Dance Macabre last year, and I lost my mind. It was so much fun because it's some new music and Cultology twins, is that what they're called? I'll put in there. It's Dr. Who Heather and oh, somebody help me out. My brain is just gone. Let me see. Give me a second. Cultology twins. I'll put up their link. What the heck? I know I subscribed to them. Why wasn't it? That's just rude. All right, let me grab their link. And come on back. Summer Savage. Oh my gosh, my brain. Good Lord. Oh, that's their email. You guys know what I was trying to do. It might be time for me to wrap this. My brain is failing. Where is their link? I don't see their link. Oh, there it is. Okay. Copy link address. Yeesh. There we go. Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And let's see. There we go. Yeah, Rumors is amazing. I think my mom had it. I have it now. And oh, the Carpenters, because that's something else I picked up at the thrift shop on last Sunday was an LP from the Carpenters. I just loved singing along, and I remember I took my twins age 10 to see Stevie. Oh, luckiest kids alive. Earth, Wind, and Fire, yes, Doobie Brothers and Kenny Loggins. And you know what I would love would be when Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins would do stuff together. Their voices together are just magical, absolutely magical. And let's see, yeah. And then the 80s were just kind of wild because it was like disco, and then hip hop was kind of growing from R&B, and it was just amazing. Grew up on rock music from the 60s and 70s. Yeah, no, it was a lot of good stuff, and I listened to a lot of that too. Oh yes, I love that song so much, Joe. That song is amazing. And it's funny, depending on what my sinuses and throat are doing that day, I'll sing either part. Stevie's is hard easier for some reason. Um, yeah, that is, yeah, I loved that. And Stevie and Don Henley, I loved that too. Uh, Loved me some Dolly. I actually watched Oh, shoot. What was that show on Saturday evenings? I really hate of all the things I've lost, I miss my memory the most. It was from Nashville, I believe, and it was a variety show, and that's where I learned of Dolly Parton. What was that called? It wasn't I Love Laughing too. Yeah, it was from the Opry. Uh, but it had a name. I just remember there was a comedian, she had a hat on, and it still had the price tag on the back. Ugh. So things like this make me wonder if I need to go back and get another yee hee haw, thank you. Ugh. That was painful for me. That was Minnie Pearl, thank you. Yeah, I think that was the first time I saw Dolly Parton, and I was just in love from day one. You still listen to the Opry? Yeah, those were good times. Um, I liked Johnny Cash as a kid, and not a whole lot of country, but there was a lot that I liked. A lot of the music that, because we were really big radio listeners. When you can't go outside, you watch TV or you listen to music, and basically those are, you watch TV until you're sick of it, and then you start listening to music until you're sick of it. My brother and I were creative though. We did a lot of fun house. Oh my gosh, Brian, I forgot about that. I'm gonna have to see if I can find some of those and share those too because those were hilarious. The doom, despair, and agony. I loved those. And my brother and I would walk around singing the song. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Hello, LVC. I don't know if you've been lurking or you just snuck into the chat, but it's good to see you. Yeah, Minnie Pearl. Thank you for that. I don't remember them all, but yeah, that brings back some memories. That's funny, Brian. Oh my goodness. Hee haw. Yeah. That was actually a pretty big part of my childhood. And we watched American Bandstand too. That's where I fell in love with Barry Manilow. And that was good times. And then Soul Train on Saturday nights in the 80s. That I think it started in the late 70s and into the early 80s. I loved me some Soul Train too. And Roy Clark, yes, amazing, amazing. Solid Gold, yeah, that too. I forgot about that. Marilyn McCoo, and who was the other host? Do you remember, Chow? I never aspired to be a dancer. I tried my hand at gymnastics. I was trying to copy Nadia Comaneci in the living room on my grandmother's. I was using my grandmother's coffee table for a balance beam and wrecked myself big time. Oh, gloom, despair, and agony on me, deep and dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Yep, that's it. That is it. Oh gosh, yeah. Nadia was my hero. I loved that. First perfect 10 ever. Wasn't that amazing to actually see? Because, I think there had only been one prior Olympics while I had been alive. I was born in 1970. And to actually be watching live on TV when she got her first perfect 10, I was in awe. Not her first, the first perfect 10. I mean, and that floor routine was just absolutely flawless. absolutely flawless. Oh, Tambra June, I'll have to pull that up and watch it again because, I mean, man, what year was that? Was that 1980? My memory's so bad, y'all. It's strange because when I'm talking about it, every once in a while, memories that I thought were long lost and buried will come back up, but I couldn't tell you when it happened. So you'll see me say things like when my brother and I were about 6, 7, 8, or 9. He and I are a year apart. It was the late 70s. Okay, so maybe that was like 78. Let me see. She is 62 years old now. Nadia, 5-time gold Olympic gold medalist. I'm trying to find. Oh, I found the video. Perfect 10, 1976. That's right. That's right. You're right, Amber. Or Janet. It was Janet. 1976. Yeah, that was absolutely. Yeah. Wheaties box, Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn. Yeah, except Caitlyn's not on the cereal box anymore. She's not on the, yeah. And she needs to be quiet. She just needs to be quiet. Uh, let's see. What else can we get into here? It's after 10 o'clock my time. Wonder what she would say about Simone Biles' routines these days. You know what? And she may have said something. I bet if I were to take a moment and look for a quote. Yep, I typed in the word on after her name, and the first thing that came up was Simone Biles. Let's see. Well, I found this. It's a link to a video, but the summary says the two brilliant gymnasts met at the Laureus Sports Awards in Monaco. Comaneci was all praise for Simone Biles as they talked about their respective Olympic videos, and that was actually just this past March. So, yeah, they've met, and she has. Oh, here from Olympics.com, it says. Let me reject some cookies first. I was asked, what do you think? Oh, let's something else. Let me move on. Move on. Looking for keywords. She said she's this generation's modern idol. So she's got high praise for her. Yeah, I say that almost every half a century, somebody comes up and changes the sport, Comaneci said, told Olympics.com. In Antwerp, as she took in competition at the 2023 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. And she said, this is this generation. She's this generation's modern idol now. So she's got respect. Let's see. Brian said the big thing about the 80s Olympics was the US hockey team beating the. I remember that. And Eric Hayden winning all 5 gold medals in speed skating. Yeah. Yeah, that year the Winter Olympics was the jam. That was what everybody was hollering about, was the 80 Winter Olympics. And I do remember US beating Russia in hockey. My grandmother is the one that got me into hockey. She's also the one that told me that blood at the right temperature can bounce on ice. And she and I would watch the LA Kings play on Saturday nights on, I believe it was Channel 9, local TV here. Yes, Mon, thank you. Please, if you aren't subscribed, do so. Hit the like button for me. And I'm trying to grow my channel. Just a few days ago, I hit 500 subscribers, and yeah, yeah. Basically, any warm bodily fluid will bounce when it hits ice if it's at the right temperature. But yeah, bodily fluids from fluids at body temperature will bounce on ice. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Kind of gross, but really interesting too. Yeah, so my grandmother and I would sit there on Saturday nights, and if there was a hint of the fight starting, we were just like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, hit him!" Good times. Imagine trying to pee. Yeah, I hope they don't pee while they're playing hockey. I've never seen that. I don't think, but yeah, I'm thinking that pee in the right conditions, it too could probably bounce on ice. Ah, let's see. Zamboni man would get angry if hockey player peed on me. Yes. Yes, you can believe that. That's funny. All right, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It just occurred to me that my ADHD brain forgot to remind me that food is important, and I feel my blood sugar doing a thing. Imagine how many. This is There's this little thing that's right in the way. Oh, okay. How many pond hockey players have tried this one out? Ew. Ew, guys. Yeah, I should probably get something to eat and get settled in before it's time to head on over to the corner booth at Denny's. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little while. And a little while is an hour and 36 minutes, 37 minutes. So thank you very much for joining me this evening and listening to my ramble and telling me about your weekends and all. And um, I should be doing this again tomorrow evening. I'm aiming for 8 p.m. Pacific time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And since I haven't figured out how to get notifications out, I'll try to post something in the Facebook groups and see if I can get the word out that way. Uh, and I hope to see you all then. Thank you, Janet. It was great hanging out with you too. And thank you, Pamela. I will talk to you again soon. And everybody, I hope you have a wonderful evening or day, depending on if you are finishing out your Sunday or starting your Monday. You have a great evening too, Brian. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.